The Cleveland Browns aren't strangers to chaos at the quarterback position, but this offseason, something different has been brewing inside Berea. It isn't just the same cycle of veterans rotating in and out or the endless questions about depth and durability. No, this time the storm has a name, Shadur Sanders. And at the center of that storm stands one man, General Manager Andrew Berea, whose bold decisions are changing the entire trajectory of the franchise. When the Browns selected Sanders in the draft, many assumed it was a developmental flyer, a long-term project that wouldn't pay dividends for years, but Berea never saw it that way. From the very beginning, he was the lone voice in the room insisting Sanders had it. He believed not only in the quarterback's skill set, but in the intangibles, the poise, the calm under pressure, and the grounding influence of being raised by a Hall of Fame father. That belief was put on display when Berea shocked the organization by elevating Sanders ahead of Dillon Gabriel on the depth chart, moving him from third string to QB2 in one bold stroke. It wasn't just a roster adjustment, and it was a statement. For Berea, this wasn't about politics or optics. It was about positioning the Browns for the future, and that future had Shadur Sanders' fingerprints all over it. What makes Berea's faith even more compelling is how visible it's become. During the preseason, when Sanders flashed moments of brilliance mixed with inevitable rookie mistakes, Berea approached him directly. Cameras caught the exchange. "Really good," Berea said with a proud smile. "Proud of you. Cool. Really, really nice job." It wasn't the kind of generic pat on the back rookies usually get. It was deliberate, public, a sign that the GM himself was putting his reputation on the line to show where his confidence rested, that support matters. Because behind closed doors, Berea had already taken significant risks to pave the way. Trading Kenny Pickett wasn't just about trimming the roster, it was about clearing the air. By removing competition that could muddy the picture, Berea was sending a clear message. Sanders would not be buried on the depth chart. His path to playing time would be open, and the organization would make sure he had a legitimate chance to prove himself. But bold moves don't come without scrutiny. Mary Kay Cabot, one of the most respected voices covering the Browns, has doubled down on Berea's vision. In her reporting, she declared that Sanders is the single biggest reason Cleveland has remained relevant in the national conversation. Without him, Cabot argued, the Browns risked slipping into irrelevance after yet another disappointing season. But with him, the team has a face, a storyline, and, most importantly, hope. Cabot's assessment goes deeper than just marketing. She insists Sanders' talent is too significant to ignore. His arm strength, his processing speed, and his composure in the pocket are all rare traits. While other aspects of his game are still developing, he doesn't have glaring weaknesses. For Cabot, the equation is simple. The upside outweighs the risk. Even if he doesn't hit immediately, the Browns lose nothing by giving him opportunities. If he does hit, however, the payoff is franchise-altering. Berea reinforced that philosophy during one of the most controversial decisions of the preseason. After Sanders struggled in a game where the offensive line collapsed repeatedly, critics piled on, saying the rookie wasn't ready. But Berea didn't blame Sanders. Instead, he held the line accountable. In a stunning move, he replaced the entire unit that had played with Sanders, sending shockwaves through the locker room. His message was unmistakable. If we're going to evaluate this quarterback, we're going to do it fairly. We will not sabotage his chances with poor protection. It was more than a personnel switch. It was a cultural reset. Berea was demanding accountability from everyone around Sanders, ensuring the young quarterback wouldn't be hung out to dry. In Cleveland's long history of botching quarterback development, this was a radical shift. Of course, no GM can reshape the narrative alone. Head coach Kevin Stefanski, once one of Sanders' most vocal critics, has been forced to adjust. Early on, Stefanski downplayed Sanders' potential, preferring to lean on veterans and avoid the risks of rookie mistakes. But the tide has shifted. With Kenny Pickett gone and Dillon Gabriel facing questions about his physical ceiling, Stefanski has had no choice but to embrace the reality that Sanders is the most complete option behind Joe Flacco. His public comments now reflect that change. "I don't concern myself with outside noise," Stefanski said recently, "but I'm committed to his development just like all of our rookies. We'll stay focused on getting him better." It wasn't the most enthusiastic endorsement, but it was a far cry from his earlier skepticism. The coach knows what's at stake. His future could very well be tied to how he handles Sanders' development. That pressure isn't lost on former players and analysts. TJ Houshmandzadeh has been one of the loudest voices warning Stefanski of the risks. On national platforms, he's argued that holding Sanders back could be the very thing that costs Stefanski his job. With Barry all in and fans growing louder, in their calls to see the rookie, Stefanski no longer has the luxury of hiding behind veteran crutches. If he mismanages this situation, he'll be the scapegoat. All of this plays out against the backdrop of Joe Flacco, the 40-year-old starter whose age and turnover issues loom over the franchise like a ticking clock. Everyone respects Flacco's resume, but the numbers don't lie. His declining mobility and recent rash of giveaways highlight the danger of leaning too heavily on a fading veteran. Each interception, each slow release, each moment of hesitation only increases the pressure to give Sanders the ball. For Shedeur himself, the storm swirling around him seems not to matter. His attitude has been nothing short of patient and grateful. He's called every practice rep a blessing, insisting he'll be ready when the moment comes. It's that calm, grounded perspective, the one Barry has admired from day one. That sets him apart from so many other rookies. He's not demanding the spotlight, he's preparing for it. And when it arrives, he plans to seize it with both hands. What makes this saga so compelling is that it isn't just about one player. It's about the Browns as an organization, a franchise notorious for instability at the game's most important position. Barry's gamble on Sanders isn't just a draft pick. It's a statement about how the team will operate moving forward. They won't bury talent. They won't let politics dictate opportunity. And they won't shy away from bold moves, even if it means disrupting the status quo. The ripple effects are already undeniable. Stefanski's job security is under a microscope. Fans are energized in a way they haven't been in years. National media is paying attention. And through it all, Sanders continues to climb step by step, from overlooked rookie to potential franchise cornerstone. The coming months will define the Browns' future. Will Barry's unwavering faith in Sanders be rewarded with on-field success, or will the gamble prove too risky? Will Stefanski embrace the challenge of molding a young quarterback, or will his hesitation lead to his downfall? And will Sanders' patience and preparation translate into performance when the opportunity finally arrives? One thing is certain. The Browns are no longer drifting in irrelevance. For the first time in a long time, there's a clear vision, and it all begins with Shadur Sanders,